Hello everyone, this is DuckloadRa giving you a shoutcast and another game between Dimaga and DuckloadRa here on Lost Temple. Dimaga spawning as the red Zerg player at the 12 or 1 o'clock position of Lost Temple. Meanwhile, across this small gap here, we now have DuckloadRa spawning as the blue Protoss. So this will be Protoss versus Zerg once again, and hopefully this will be some great games. I do not watch all these games beforehand, so I don't get to read off a sheet of paper. Everything you hear, including my stuttering, is all unplanned. Yeah. Anyways, DuckloadRa most likely going to set up a 9 pylon and now move out. Will quickly reveal himself to his opponent Dimaga. And by the timing on this one scouting probe, Dimaga most likely knows that his opponent did in fact spawn, cross spawn from him, and that it would be very dangerous, where he would have to try to set up a lot of proper defense in order to go for a 13 or a 14 or 15 hatchery. Now you see the probe just hugging along the outside there, now coming along that backside, and now quickly gaining sight here, being very, very smart to not reveal himself until the last moment, and now grabbing some minerals of his own to try to walk all the way back home. So delaying the drone there, and now by seeing this extractor now come into play, I believe DuckloadRa does see that. No, he doesn't see the extractor. By not seeing the extractor, he may think that a hatchery may still be placed down. We can now see the probe wandering around. Wait, there he goes. Now he sees the extractor down. He will see that spawning pool. That spawning pool will stop that probe from being able to walk along that backside. And now DuckloadRa knows that he will be facing some early Zerglings. Being built, and now you can see a gateway pylon here. It will be a cybernetics core after wait, no, I take it back. There is not an assembly. Wait, okay. For a moment, I thought that DuckloadRa was trying to go for mass zealots, which would be a very, very interesting strategy, especially at this stage in the game. Perhaps if Dimaga had tried to go for an earlier hatchery, he would have gone for double gateways and then try to get some more, and then try to get more zealots knocking on that front door, getting a lot of pressure early on. The probe now once again going to go back out to see if a hatchery has been placed down at all. You can take a look. Dimaga has stopped mining all gas whatsoever, so he may try to one base mass Zergling off of queens. This is a strategy that I've seen a little bit more often. I believe the first time I saw it was with Abver. Abver using that strategy, getting a lot of Zerglings, and now stopping all of his drone production after this one here in order to maintain it. And then with that queen, he will be able to train up on average 10 20 Zerglings every minute, and that is a lot of Zerglings to try to keep up with, especially when you only have one gateway. So this is going to be a problem. DuckloadRa only has one gateway at this point in time, and once that queen starts coming out and starts getting that that spawn larva into play, you can see that spawn larva now, how long it's going to take. It takes about 40 seconds for that, and also that the metabolic boost now being researched as well. But with one stalker and one zealot, these two units right here holding this front door can take down a lot of units. And taking a look back at the base right now, we see Dimaga now going for that hatchery, so it is not going to be a one base all-in strategy. Instead, he just wanted to get that. He now training up his second queen, still not getting any mineral or any gas, just trying to get as many Zerglings as he can, hoping to rely on Zerglings to deal the majority of the damage and the defense between the two bases. One queen now making the long, slow off creep walk. The queen's no longer in its hood, so it takes a little bit longer to just walk around and try to set up his new home, or her new home here down at the natural expansion. Back here we now have this gateway, still training up more and more sentries, and now we see DuckloadRa going for 2 additional gateways as well. So this may be a 3-gate. I'm looking for a robotics facility. It may be 3-gate stalker blink. Normally it's a 4-gate push, but I don't, and normally you only run off of 1 gas. So exactly how this is going to work, I'm not 100% sure. We now have a sentry guarding on that front door as well. We'll be able to hold off a lot of damage. That probe was trying to slide its way out, able to squeeze through that location there, and now set up a pylon. I wonder if that trick works, where if you're able to like stack up a group of drones and then try to push through and then tell it to hold position, the drones are actually able to mineral path and then disrupt. In comes those Zerglings. Zerglings are going to have a little bit of a field day on one of those probes, and now trying to get even more damage. There are 2 sentries and 1 zealot there. Zerglings are just pecking away at that Nexus. The Nexus has taken quite a bit of damage so far. You can see how much damage it has taken overall. More Stalkers now being warped in as well. All of this off of 3 gates, so it's a 3-gate expand, and not trying to tech, just trying to get a very, very decent sized army to hold off against this swarm of Zerglings. These Zerglings are only, not very many Zerglings at all, only 12 Zerglings, about 6 food worth. But because of their high speed and because of the unit combination, DuckloadRa has to be careful. Otherwise, those Zerglings are going to simply surround and pick off those Stalker one by one. We now see one Spine Crawler getting an Impaler Tentacle in. We may get a Guardian, no Guardian Shield, as there is only one Zergling or Zerglings and one Impaler Tentacle in to try to absorb that damage. And now we also see an Overlord here. At some point, I expect Dimaga to try to sacrifice the Overlord to figure out what exactly DuckloadRa's strategy is. Back in the base of DuckloadRa, the natural expansion currently warping in a Nexus as well, and now going for a Forge. So this Forge will help out as the Stalkers and Zealots once again move out along with those sentries. And now we are also getting Roaches. We are at teching already teching at tier 2. So Dimaga should be able to get that Glio reconstitution in just a second, enabling him to get faster movement speed. But now we see the Stargate already being built, and now Dimaga training up 4 Overlords at the same time will be able to unsupply lock himself in just a second. Also getting Burrow, so Dimaga using this time to just macro up, get a very, very strong units. Burrow, very, very important, especially for those Roaches, as Roaches can burrow and then regenerate hit points very, very quickly. Stalkers, Zealots, Sentries back over here, 1 Forge over here as well. Obviously, you can see that, and a Photon Cannon guarding this location here. Dimaga at some point may want to try to take up another base. So in taking up a 3rd base, his options are pretty much probably one of these expansions over here. Is this a drone? Yeah, a drone now making its way out. Dimaga realizing that his opponent is even on bases, needs to establish a base of his own, and now a Void Ray is also being trained. So Void Rays are going to be in the air in addition to level 1 weapons upgrade, so it will be very, very strong Stalkers and Zealots against Roaches and Zerglings. But those Void Rays, able to deal about 25 damage a second, are going to be able to rip through those Roaches very, very easily, especially as those Roaches do not yet have that movement speed upgrade. Once they get that movement speed upgrade though, which is right about now, those Roaches should be able to outrun Void Rays that are in the air, and now they also have Burrow. So Roaches now on the move. I'm gonna go ahead and just center around over here a decent army of Roaches and Zerglings. There are Void Rays, and now we are going into a Spire. So Spire play, Robotics Facility, both sides just sitting in their bases, being very, very careful. DuckloadRa wants to get some kills off of this Void Ray, and it looks like he'll be able to come into this position here and try to get some damage, but there are a lot of Roaches already at this front door. One of those Roaches should probably just burrow. Yeah, there you go, burrows. The Void Ray is going to look around and go, hey, what happened to those Roaches? And those Roaches are just going to simply hide there. Zerglings now going to be able to just run away. That Void Ray trying to attack, and after realizing that Dimaga burrowed his Zerglings, realizes that there's most likely burrowed Roaches out in the field as well. 1 Void Ray, now 2 Void Rays. Void Ray's brother showing up just in case those Roaches do decide to see the light of day. Those Void Rays will be able to take it down. And now back here, Dimaga already has this hatchery up, and he should be trying to train up a Queen and then getting a stronger economy going in just a moment, as well as there are full hit point Roaches here. Army wise, taking a look, 2,400 for DuckloadRa. Dimaga sitting at 1,475, and now drones being transferred. So right now Dimaga not able to mine out nearly as quickly, as he is in a little bit of trouble, or he is now transferring his drone, so he's not going to be able to get as many minerals for a while. And now we see DuckloadRa using this island expansion with a Warp Prism, and now Stalkers on that high ground as well. This is going to be very interesting. In come those Void Ray trying to get some damage. There is 1 Spore Crawler as well getting some damage, and now 1 Spine Crawler here. Roach is now trying to come in, and now Mutal is cleaning up many of those units there. Roaches, however, only with a range of 4, unable to attack those Stalkers, and now picking apart many of this attacking force there. Down it goes. Nicely done. Dimaga really just showing the strength of his Mutalist there with those Roaches, able to pick off some damage. Spine Crawlers also able to join in on that fight as well. Back here, we now see some Stalkers over here, and now DuckloadRa is also working in a Nexus. So Nexus is going to be his 3rd base, but we already see Dimaga trying to establish his 4th base. So Dimaga doing a great job expanding across the map, trying to be everywhere at once, which is a lot easier for Zerg now that they have movement speed on creep. Overlord in the air will see this pylon here, but now in comes another fight. So what, Mutalisk coming in trying to pick off some of those Stalkers. Those Stalkers are just going to get picked down very, very easily. This one Warp Prism may get shot down as well. Yes, down it goes, but Stalker's already coming in to try to shoo it away. Another pylon here. That quickly will get cancelled by DuckloadRa. And DuckloadRa realizes that he needs to do something. One probe now doing some long distance mining, does see this expansion here, and now going to walk up this expansion as well, up that ramp, and see another expansion. So really DuckloadRa realizes how bad of a situation he currently is in. There is one proxy pylon here, the ability to warp in units and train units anywhere, really helping out now, as these Mutalisks perhaps going to just wait for a decent ball and try to push out. Mutalisks just still wandering around. 2775 versus 3000, with 2000 gas versus 2900 and 1575. This one pylon should be able to warp in a lot of units, and Dimaga does see it, so Dimaga should try to take care of this pylon, as he knows how many units can be funneling out of there in just mere moments. Dimaga already getting 3 harvesters on every one of those gas here, so he's trying to go into a very, very heavy gas play, and which is obvious by the number of Mutalisks that he's just still trying to queue up and train up. Army-wise, 19 Mutalisks now in the air and will be owning the skies very, very easily. And the only thing that can really stop them would be Psystorm at this stage, as that is a very large number of Mutalisks, and I don't see a Twilight Council yet. Without a Twilight Council, it will be very difficult to deal with the sheer number of Mutalisks that Dimaga has, especially with in combination of those roaches. And those roaches and those Zerkins will be able to supplement as a very, very strong ground forces. Dimaga not even caring about the minerals on these mineral patches, just going for the gas. So very, very heavy gas play. Dimaga continuing to just try to get as much gas as possible. Yeah, much gas as possible as this game continues. And now we're also getting the Zerg level 2 flyer upgrade on armor. That is something I rarely ever see. Those Mutalisks are going to have a base 2 armor, and then be much more difficult to shoot down, especially as those Stalkers are now only at level 1 weapons upgrades. So those Mutalisks are going to be able to come in and perhaps do a lot of pressure, coming in, dealing a lot of damage. Cannons now getting picked apart one at a time. Another cannon going to get cleaned up here. But here comes the main attacking force of DuckloadRa. DuckloadRa moving out with a very large army of Stalkers, Void Rays, and Colossus. Will it be enough? Those Mutalisks need to get back in order to try to fight another day, and it doesn't look like... Wait, no, the Mutalisks are back in time, as DuckloadRa didn't want to push. As, yeah, there are only 3 Colossus. Those Colossus are simply be overrun by the sheer number of Roaches that are currently in play. Roaches have decent armor and level 1 weapons upgrade, and in comes the fight here. So both sides, in comes those force fields. Mutalisks going straight for those Void Rays. Void Rays getting picked apart one at a time. More Mutalisks joining in on that fight. Those Roaches are taking a lot of damage, and now both sides trying to exchange armies, and Dimaga being forced to retreat down to a 2700. And I believe that Guardian Shield was the real kicker for Dimaga. I'm not 100% sure about this, but I think on the Glaive Worms, it actually reduces the amount of damage for each chain as well. So, because those are all armored units. So, instead of dealing 963, they're dealing essentially 741, and that is a very significant reduce in reducing damage. And now Dimaga, even though he has such a large army of Mutalisks in the air, unable to combat the Stalkers of DuckloadRa, those sentries really adding additional armor, and Dimaga says GG. Alright, so 10 minutes or 3 minutes prior to the end of the battle, I could have sworn Dimaga had the stronger advantage. Those Stalkers normally are not that powerful against Mutalisks. Mutalisks with that Glaive Worm chain damage normally does a lot of damage. I believe it's 963. So 963 would be, 18 damage per attack. But because of those Guardian Shields, it was only, and the base 1 armor, instead of doing 963 against unarmored units, against the shields anyways, it was doing 741, I believe. And then against the actual Protoss armor, it was dealing... 5 and 2. So yeah, that's the reason why those Mutalisks, even with that chain damage, wasn't able to get enough splash damage and finish off the rest of these units here. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay between DuckloadRa and Dimaga here on Lost Temple.